everyone. Had a small glitch here, trying to get everybody back in again. I don't know what happened. It just suddenly went on me, and I was starting to start it up. So hopefully I can get the other guys in here. They'll realize what happened, and they'll look for the new link here. Oh, man, this thing here just suddenly went bonkers on me. I'm not sure whether it's YouTube screwing with StreamYard or what. That's what I think it is. But let's see, we got comments here. All right, we've got Kraken's in here, Liberty Garden, Aidenair, Wolfang, Christy Betts. Well, some people are finding it. Seriously, I don't know what happened here. High-tech glitch here, man. That's all it is. So hopefully the other guys will come up here. Give me 1 second here and see if I can get them in here again. Okay. See if I can get them alive here. I got to bring them in here. This thing has just been, and we go here, pull up the Control-C, and get them the email with the link and see how fast they get up in here. All right, ACR. No, it's not. I don't think it's the government's fault. Hey, Courtney. Well, I don't think it's the government's fault. I think there's been problems with YouTube the last 24, 48 hours, and especially people's lives, things screwing up on it. And so, yeah, I just started, and all of a sudden it just went, I guess they didn't like the name or something. Hey, Gardner Josh. And I froze. Let's see, let's get those guys in here. Waiting for them to show up. But anyways, in the meantime, while I'm waiting for them to show up, I'm just going to go ahead and shift over this way and start this out. And so what is a bug out location? What does it mean to you guys? So if you guys want to put in the chat what a bug out location means to you. All right, there's Will. Hey, Will, I sent you a new link. See how long it takes for Uncle Al to realize what's going on and Dave to get in here. All right. So when I realized talking to what a lot of people hear from the big prepper channels. All right, there's Al. Hey.
I'm back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just suddenly just on me, and all of a sudden it said, stream ended. It's a what? And it's like, oh man. So yeah, so guys,
I think Will's still on the other.
No, he's in the chat here.
Okay.
And I emailed out everybody the new link. So the bug out. Okay, Wolfang says bug out location is the last resort. Okay, Christy says a place to go away from the crazies. Okay, hey, prep for it. A lot of people though, I've noticed that when they I've talked to them, I hear them talking about, oh yeah, such and such channel said bug out location is a place where you go at the drop of a hat whenever there's a disaster, and you run out into the woods and you hide out in the woods. It's like, Al, are you going to hide out in the woods?
Hell no, I'm at my bug out location. I'm in suburbia. Yeah. I have a golf course right there. And I know, so watching Brett and Amy at Broussard Family Homes at Broussard Homestead, and their story is that they went ahead and moved to their bug out location and decided it's going to take time to set it up. So they moved there and get things going. I thought the bug out was the woods. And so in reality,
a real bug out location is, Christy said, a place to get away from the crazies. It can be a place of last resort, but it's not a bare bones, oh, I'm going to be working so dang hard just to survive location.
Right.
All right. And I don't see Will or Dave yet.
Well, Will says he's back.
Yeah, I know. I sent Will the link.
Email?
So I emailed him a link. I think I emailed to him. I got all three of you guys on it. All right, Liberty Garden. All right, we're going to talk about that, bugging in, unless you absolutely have to get out. And that's what Steve, Corsair Trainer says too. All right, let me see if I can throw that up over here. And he can't find it in his email. All right, there you go. Well, our cabin in the woods. Hey, how you guys going? Yeah, I got a feeling we're going to be short on people tonight because of that glitch. Oh, we got 17 in here, so that's better than nothing.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so let's go on to the thing here. All right, so Webster Dictionary said when I Googled what does bug out mean, Webster Dictionary said intransitive verb to retreat during a military action, especially or to flee in panic. Well, since we're not in the military, I think they're referring to everybody else. And no, you do not want to flee in panic. You want to have a plan. And so that's one of the things that I want to talk about here is plan. Remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Or if you prefer, piss poor preparation produces whatever the heck, results.
Right. Go see Steve's analogy of that.
Yeah, Steve, Corsair Trainers, he harped on piss poor planning and laid it all out.
Yep.
CR, flee with a plan. Exactly. You have a plan, you follow it. So, but first of all, what to look for in a bug out locations. The distance. Is the distance from where you're normally at? Hey, Martha. Is the distance one that you can travel? This is going to be important later when I start showing maps. You'll see what I mean. Is it a viable distance away from where you live that you can still make it there? 2, seclusion. Is it out there where everybody can see, or is it, kind of off the beaten path and kind of hidden where most people are not going to see it? Okay. Liberty points out a point. If you're planning to go to a non-owned bug out location, yeah, you may find, oh, this is a great place to go to, and you get up there and there's like 10 other groups there, all getting ready to fight each other over the location rather than working together.
Or worse, you end up in the middle of a military camp and they're all looking at you like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. All right. Next thing to consider about it is how are you going to get there? Can you drive there all the way? Is it easy to walk to if you're not able to drive? How long is it going to take you to get there? Days? Weeks? That's something to think about. Does it provide shelter? Or are you going to have to bring shelter with you? Can you build some shelter there beforehand?
Remember, the Daniel Boone fantasy of chopping out a log cabin is nuts.
Yeah, not in an emergency situation. Is there water where you're planning to bug out? Is there clean, fresh water available?
We don't want any green, chunky brown water.
Is the land able to provide self-sufficiency to you? Is there enough wood to be self-sustaining as you cut down trees and stuff for firewood?
Right.
is there land enough to grow on? Do you
Right.
get plenty of sun?
Right. Another reason is the dirt rich enough? If it's like the Amazon, would you have a hard base clay? It won't grow anything. You just get
Yeah.
dirt. So is your soil viable enough to grow a crop for 2 seasons? That's the main thing people miss on self-sufficiency. If
Yeah.
your dirt's like red clay adobe, you're not going to grow anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it so covered with woods that you can't grow anything because it's going to be in the shade, but the only thing you grow is going to be mushrooms and a few lettuces, you know. Security. Are you able to secure the area against threats? And we'll talk more about some of these things later. Natural threats. Gee, is that property on the migration trail of a grizzly bear? Is it covered with poison ivy or poison oak or poison sumac? You know, what sort of, or is it, hey, wait a minute, there are 4 big fire ant hills here. Yeah,
or worse, you're in the south and you got kudzu.
Yeah. All right, so you got check out your natural threats, and then the final thing is red tape. The government, the county government. Are you able to build there? Are they going to come out and want to inspect every inch of the property? What's the stuff you got to worry about? Yes, thorns is another one. Is it overgrown with thorns? Okay, next one here. All right, now best places to look for a bug out location. Hey, C103. All right, best places outside the danger zone, outside of where all the rioters, the crazies. All right, here comes Dave.
Trying to hide from me, aren't you?
Yeah. Into the countdown and went. So you want to be outside the danger zone. And always remember, danger zones expand. So you want to make sure you're going to be outside of a expanding danger zone. Now, this one is part of these. I pulled from several websites and what they're saying. So I want to get a good rounded opinion. And I have a problem of number 2. And a lot of them are saying, number 2, you want the high ground. Well, if you're up on the top of the hill, and that's what some of them were saying, you want to be on the very top. You want to have the high ground. I'm sorry, you're a target.
Or
you step out of the door. You step out of the door, someone can shoot you. You don't want the high exposed ground. You want to be well hidden.
Right, because everybody remember the case with oh shoot, I forgot. I had a brain fart. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, you want to be able to be well hidden. You don't want to, you want to be able to have some view of the area, but you don't necessarily want to be on the highest ground. And I'll explain that a little bit in here in a second when I get to the next slide. You want to be able to be well hidden. You can't do that on the high ground. By a creek or a river, you want flowing water.
But you got to be careful on that because I had a house near a river or a creek, and guess where my house went?
Down the river when it flooded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to watch the natural threats on that. You want to be right on the bank of the river. You want to be up a little bit above it, especially and you want to make sure that you're not in the floodplain. When I said agricultural land, someone said agricultural land, and what I want to explain on that, you want to make sure that the land is capable of growing crops easily. You don't want to be down in the farmlands, but you want to be on land that can grow food. You want to look for that. Some were saying a cabin in the woods. Well, that's a good possibility for a bug out location because if it's well hidden, if it's by a creek, so a cabin in the woods could be nice.
Until a firestorm hits.
And here's
barbecue.
Yeah. And here's a more simpler one. Number 7, a relative's house outside of the city or danger zone. I'm going to go head to my Uncle Joshua's place, 40 miles outside of Boise, or, something like that, where they're already in a, bug out location. Or I'm going to go see my cousin Brett Broussard down there in Louisiana. He's at his bug out location. It's nice and safe there.
Until a hurricane comes through.
Yeah. All right. Now, worst places for a bug out location. Now if Steve comes in here, he's going to give me a. I got to throw this up here. Oh, it jumped on me. No place is perfect. We can make our bug out more perfect one step at a time. Exactly. And that's what Brett and Amy Broussard did. They went ahead and went to their bug out location and have been working on it, making it better all the time. All right, so you want to be anywhere outside of the city or danger zone, if at all possible. There's going to be some that are not going to be able to get out of the city because all they do is ride the buses everywhere. And it's like, oh, how am I getting out of the city? The buses aren't running. Okay, you don't want to set up anywhere by a major road. Why is that? Any ideas? Nothing from the side chat or the panel.
Remember,
why would you want?
It takes a minute.
It takes a minute.
Yeah.
I live in Stockton for 5 years. I know why you don't live near a major road. You have,
Stockton is full of gangbangers and drug pushers. I'm sorry. When we drive through Stockton, going to sporting events, we have the baseball bats out ready.
Okay, here's the main reason you don't live near a major highway. Let's say the financial market collapsed and people are trying to get out of the cities and the roads are congested and you're next to a major highway and cars are broke down and people are starting to walk. You are target number one. You're the first person they're going to run into. You're the first person they're going to try taking stuff from.
Yeah. In every scenario I've checked on, of people exiting the cities on major highways, freeways, minor highways, country roads, anything getting out of the city. And for the first 75 miles leaving the city, it's going to be like locusts. They're going to be cleaning everything they come across. All right. You don't want to be setting up anywhere that you're easily spotted. Because they easily spot you, you may not be easily spotting them. If you're sitting out there on top of the hill and they can see you and they're still down in the woods, guess what? They're going to sneak up on you before you realize how close they are. That's the other reason I don't want to be, oh, I got the high ground. I'm king of the mountain. Then they said a lot of the guys were saying a valley or low ground. All right, I've seen some valley properties that are perfect. Well, someone can come from you up the hill. Well, that hill behind me, I got 100 yards from this house to that hill, and then that hill is, you ain't climbing down that hill. They're falling or rolling down that hill, or trying to rappel down, and I'm going to see them trying to come down.
Martha posted a respectable post.
Who did? Oh,
Old School.
Old School. Yeah, Martha. Okay, sorry. Yep, exactly. And Liberty Garden says pros and cons to everything. Isolated bug out criminals can take your time within your family if they find you. Those people that won't leave cities until resources are gone. Yeah.
Or worse, They're going to be like warlords and they're going to centralize their city. So if you're in a small city and you know the power structure, you can cut it off from everybody else. And they go on the highway and get close to your territory, they get nuked.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. So sometimes low ground lower ground, but not up on the mountains and stuff, lower levels, can be better if the situation is right. You have to look at the situation because no two plots of land are the same. How thick are the trees? How old are the trees? Is there any trees at all? Is it gently rolling hills? Is there a lot of little lakes out there, and streams? All these things have to be taken into account whether or not you want to be there or not. Flatland. Some actually made reference to Nebraska and Oklahoma flatlands. It's like, I can see the curvature of the earth, and there's a person walking out there 10 miles away. Yeah, so that's one of the things where that might not be a good thing.
No, Tibor, we didn't.
Okay, arid land. You don't want to be in a desert where there's no water available. You gotta have water. Yeah, but there's water near you.
Yeah, we have two lakes and 3 rivers.
Yeah,
and we guard those things with our life.
Yeah. Okay, you don't want to be in a well-known area such as a camping ground. Well, I'm going to bug out to Yosemite or Yellowstone. And I throw this in there because a lot of people are, saying, a FEMA resource center or a state or county, mass shelter. Mass shelters suck.
Mass shelter is a mass suicide waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody remember Katrina.
Yes, and the what was it? What was the football stadium there?
The Astrodome.
It was just packed, and all and then 6 hours into it, all the toilets were overflowing. Yeah. All right. So that's you got to compare your best to your work and make sure you don't wind up in the worst places. I found an article that mentioned stuff like this, and I thought it was applicable here. Wherever you set up, you want to make sure you have what's called force multipliers for your homestead, such as the Bussards, your urban homes, such as Corsair trainers, or your bug out location. Now, force multipliers force multipliers are things that increase your defensibility.
Survivability.
Survivability too. So, and there's Courtney with the hearts. The skills and training is something you can start now. All right, they're coming over from someplace. Well, they're coming over probably from Jess's.
Yep.
So your force multipliers. Everyone's coming over from Jess. Your force multipliers and skills is the more skills you have, the better you're able to defend yourself.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah. And so one of the things there to consider is firearms training, bushcraft training, carpentry, electrical, stuff like that. Barriers was another one. There are all sorts of barriers you can put up to make, if you're out there, you can put up the split log fence, barbed wire, downing trees just to make it, harder for someone to get closer to you. So that's what barriers. Now, technology would be stuff like CCTV cameras, game cameras with Bluetooth. They don't activate unless something happens. Tripwires and stuff like that. Drones doing patrols. You send up a drone, it goes out, then it comes back. You charge up the battery, send it. Someone else sends it out and around.
Right, but you cannot put out IUDs or man traps. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
You can put
it's not a man trap, it's a deer snare.
Yeah, it's still a man trap. So you could put up barriers. Like I said, it could be chain link panels. It could be cattle panels. It could be the stuff they use in the Civil War with the stakes going like this. Yeah, what they call those things?
Sticks.
No, the big ones.
Oh,
the deter cavalry. It has a French name to it.
Yeah, there's the caltrops are the small ones, that you throw out. People step on, horses step on, and stuff like that. But the other ones were for the stopping tanks and stuff like that, and vehicles.
Vehicles, but in the old days they had wooden ones for horses, and the horse is smart enough; it's not going to run into a 6-foot pole.
All right, then the next important thing for a force multiplier for your bug out location would be know the terrain. Now, a lot of people talk about, oh yeah, I bought this property up there. I go out there maybe once a year. How well do you know the terrain going up there once a year? Yeah, it depends how many years you have if you go up there. But the best thing I've seen where people, they get a place and they put like a vacation cabin up there. And they go up there, once a month, once every 2 months. During the summertime, they go up there for a week at a time. They spend time up there, not just weekends and stuff, and they learn the area. And they actually do what Dave's live stream was about, maps. They get the topographical map, and they go around and they learn where all the paths are, where you can go, where you can't go, and they mark stuff out on their maps. And then, of course,
repeat of gills. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's what Dave's live stream was about. So the next thing is your mindset. It's just we're a terrible thing. It's just that, the earth is, everything's falling apart. It's I don't know what to do. We're sitting out here in the middle of nowhere. We're going to starve to death, even though we're safe from the zombie horde. Well, yeah, you are. If you think you're going to die, you're going to die. You got to have a positive mindset. All right, we're out here. We've got good soil. We got plenty of water. We're isolated. We need to get the gardens in now. Get things growing. Get things up. Make sure we do perimeter checks. Yeah, mindset. Yeah, Howie. I saw all those heart raids. Okay. Would want to and show up. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I got a point here. Best prep is to change your diet so you grow the food that is dense in nutrition so no one else recognizes it as food.
Like turnips.
Camouflage, turnips, radishes, anything you can disguise as natural growth.
All of the stuff you're talking about here, Gil, brings back to points I made in a video. Bug out bags. Is it a good idea or a myth or something? I don't remember what it was, but
it was bug out bags myth.
Yeah. I discussed 99.9% of this in that short little video. And there's two key things that I'm going to say. First off, if you're a lone wolf, it's been nice knowing you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lone wolves will not survive long. You may survive a little while, but you're not going to survive long. Second, you need a community. Okay. Not just one or two houses worth of people, unless they're very full. It will take a community to secure the property, to grow the food, to keep law and order in the community. And it has to be a structured community. You have to have somebody who's appointed as leader. You have to have people below them that take sections of groups that people report to them and they report to the leader. You have to have a chain of command. Because if you don't have any of that, it doesn't matter what your bug out location is, whether it's a home, a tent, a cave, a bunch of sticks thrown together, you're not going to make it long. Because the next big group of people is going to come along and run right over top of you and take everything you have.
Yeah.
So part of bug out location is planning. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you have to make sure you have all your ducks in order. You can't just say, well, I'm going to go bug out to the national park over here and build me a lean-to and hide in it for the next 6 years. You ain't going to make it.
No, it's like that guy who got caught for molesting a child. They finally caught him because he couldn't be a lone wolf. He did it for 2 years, ran out of supplies, and he came back hungry and crying. He couldn't make it out there.
Yep.
They didn't even have to erase.
Part of your mindset too. All right, so let's go on the next side here. So if you're bugging out, well, what might have bugging out? One thing to consider. All right, so this is the population density map for the United States. Can you tell where what the heavier populated areas are?
Your voting centers.
Yeah.
That's
And
where Steve lives.
so if it's a dark color, you don't want to be there.
That's where Steve lives.
Yeah, there's Steve's house, right? Wait, there's Steve's house right there. There we go.
No,
Okay.
that's Bakersfield. Nobody wants to live
up over there.
Nobody wants to live Bakersfield.
Yeah. Now, when I was Googling bug out locations just to see what the heck was out there, several people were putting out their things from their videos and stuff. This is the best bug out location in the United States. And the first one that popped up was North and South Dakota because it's so sparsely populated. Have you ever been in North and South Dakota in the wintertime?
Apparently they haven't.
Yeah, I'm over here in Idaho, right around this area here. Over here, it's 10 times colder over there.
That's why they call it the American Siberia.
Yeah. And when I was up in Dickinson, North Dakota, I only have one word for it. I'm going to do the Will Smith version. Damn!
It's that cold, folks.
It's that bad. And see, Dickinson, North Dakota is close to the Minot Air Force Base. And my boss at DHS was a major over the security forces up there. And he goes, he was so happy. He pulled every string he could to get out of that place.
Yep, that's why in the Air Force, why not Minot? And nobody loves it.
Yeah. And then someone else was pointing, well, you want to go to one of the 3 major mountain ranges in the United States. Okay. So if I am at, wow, that's a long way for me to travel to go to a bug out location. Or, I'm down here in Texas. It's like, yeah, a long way to go to a bug out location. Distance matters. How far you have to travel. And remember,
Right.
if it's a situation that's making you bug out, guess what? Gas stations probably aren't going to be operational along the way.
And
Which
folks,
is why
remember,
you need to have situational awareness.
Yeah.
Know beforehand that it's time to move.
Yeah.
If you're paying attention to all the little signs and wonders going on around you, you'll realize it's fixing to pop off. I'm going to go ahead and start heading to my little retreat. And if things don't pop off, I'll have a nice little vacation. If they do pop off, I'm already far enough away from major population centers that I'm not going to get caught up in that major traffic jam that's fixing to happen.
Yeah.
all right. Now, folks,
All right.
remember. Go ahead.
Let's get through a couple of these here first here. So someone else was just saying, oh, no, you want to go only over here in the Blue Ridge Mountains and stuff. That's the only place to do it. It's like, wait, so you're saying the rest of the United States has no viable bug out locations? So this guy here was definitely, tunnel vision on one area only as being the only viable. He had no other experience anywhere else in the United States. Now, if you were in Dave's live stream, you saw this picture here. Someone was planning. They were looking into a national forest area to have their bug out location. They mapped it out. They checked it. It's near water, no roads nearby. Problem is, it's in a national forest. You can't build there. You can't set stuff up ahead of time. And if it turns out to be that good of a location out there in a national forest,
How many other people do you think are doing the same daggone thing? Are going to show up there as well? And then you got to use your maps to map out how you're going to get there, whether you can get there driving or on foot. On foot is your last resort. You want to be able to drive or at least bicycle or ride a horse there. You don't want to be part of the crowd, because I guarantee you, if you're part of this crowd, all sorts of ugly things are going to happen at night, especially if you're female. Country. Well, if you have a predetermined bug out place set up that you go to all the time, and over the years you see nobody else visits there, okay, you got a shot at it, but doesn't mean you're going to be alone. If it's not your property, you got to worry about it. A nice little cabin out in the woods is an amazing thing. If it's just like a little vacation cabin, if it's a place you go to, it works.
That's the wrong state, though. Do you know what state that picture was probably taken from?
What?
Florida.
That one's Florida?
Yeah, because of palm tree.
Palms.
The type of palm tree.
Yep.
Yeah. That could be California.
Don't curse Florida like that now. Come on. Samus is trying to do good.
All right, Florida's nice. Don't insult it by including the riffraff I have to live with.
All right. In your vacation bug out, retreat, redoubt, whatever you want to call it, property? Yeah. A nice, you have time, you can build a nice cabin. Even if you're in a semi-arid area, you have time, you can build your log cabin if you're going to take time and build it. Of course, a nice log cabin like this probably offers a bit more protection than a plank cabin like that. Log cabins offer a little bit more protection. If you have properties out there in the forest, you can do amazing things. If you can get a cargo container up there, or in this case, they got a refrigerated semi-tractor with the nice chrome doors and buried it. But I hope they put brick on the rocks along the side to protect it. But
what Gil says is to support it so the weight of the dirt don't go.
Exactly. You want to put some support on the sides there. Now, this was an interesting one. I'm not going to show all the pictures I found on it, and I found some pictures they probably didn't want out there. This looks like a wall in there. It looks like just a little small storage room off on the side there. The door going into the main part of it is hidden.
Well, see, there's a problem with that, though. That vent right there, right in front of it, gives it away.
Yeah, the vent's here.
Poorly located.
Yeah, it gives away that there's something more here than meets the eye.
Oh Lord!
This. I'm sorry, I had to throw this one in here. If Steve was here, I would. Huh?
Isn't that Steve's backyard?
That's what I was thinking.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, but cargo containers out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, they're not going to stop at 30-30, but stop 22, some 38, some 9mm, and you don't have to really bury them too much. It also throws up at the sight of, do I really want to go in there and try to take something? City urban. All right.
Excuse me.
I found several articles on them, and I'm sorry, I disagreed with all of them vehemently.
How did you find that picture of me over there?
And one of the things they were talking about, bugging out in the city. And they're talking about, go to abandoned buildings and stuff. And I'm thinking, city, abandoned building. No, because every abandoned building has some sort of gang or drug addicts or something. There is no real abandoned buildings that you can use in a city that's not going to have trouble waiting for you by the score.
Right. And also, it could be industrial waste there, too.
Mm-hmm.
So you
That's
don't
the
want to walk
reason
in
why-
like, I feel like kind of funny and dizzy. And then they'll find your bodies with the other gang members.
Yeah.
Which is why I recommend everybody have a UV light of some sort, preferably medium to high power. That way, if you have to scavenge through said buildings, that kind of stuff glows brightly, and you'll see it, and it's like, I don't want to be anywhere near that. Time to
Yeah. And one of the articles I was reading on these guys out there, these supposed experts, self-importanated experts. Oh yeah, and also there'll be abandoned some of the abandoned military bases and stuff are great places to go to. No, because everybody and their mother and uncle are going to be thinking the same daggone thing. Hey, there's an old abandoned Air Force base out here. There may be some stuff we can use out there, and it's away from everybody else, and we can defend it. All of a sudden, you have 5,000 people showing up there.
It's like that box canyon off of LA. It's a naval reservation, but you don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I keep telling people, last time some idiot says, oh, we found this beautiful, it's away from rain and people. They all died from cancer within 2 weeks. The Navy used to store all their nuclear material there. And that site is so hot that even when they had the brush fires, they were worried if it caught on fire, would the fallout come back to the LA area?
Yeah. All right. Bugging in. Okay. Probably most people's first choice is actually to bug in. And I have nothing against it if you do things right. Fortifying your home. I found some good articles on stuff. And how do 99% of all homes doors in the United States, how do they open?
Inwards.
Inwards. Businesses, how do their doors open?
Depends on what year they were built.
Yeah, but most of them are required by fire code to open outward. You cannot push a door that opens outward. You can't kick it in. Now, even some of the articles were saying that down in the hurricane areas, some of the counties are having new construction reverse their doors so they open outwards.
Yep.
They have those special hinges on them that you can't tap the pin out of or do anything monkey with them. So, but the reason is the winds from the hurricanes were actually blowing doors in.
And folks, make sure the doors are steel, not wood or not hollow.
Not hollow core, definitely not. Now, reinforcing your windows. Three of the articles all said hurricane shutters. They look decorative, but hey, if they're totally functional, you can lock that sucker down. The other thing is that only one other person thought of besides myself, old school security glass. If you remember back at the schools and stuff, they had the glass with the little wires running through it to make it stronger and harder than snot to break it. Bars. The LA security bars on the exterior windows. Something to reinforce your windows. Strengthening your walls. Now I'm talking about strengthening your walls, and some of the other guys who were agreeing is you want to make the walls stop flying lead. And the easiest way on that is if you're in a temperate climate, you just if you don't have to worry about insulation, you just put gravel in there. Gravel, it's 4 inches of the 4-inch space of most walls will stop a 30-30 round. If your construction is 2 2x6 for your first floor. If it's a 2-story house. Time to peel off the sheetrock, put up some insulation board. They're like that, the 1-inch thick R32 insulation boards up, and the rest of it you fill it full of the gravel.
Or you do it ghetto style, get sandbags and iron plates, and go around the house.
Well, you don't want it to show up on the outside for the wall reinforcement. This is, you do not want to draw attention to yourself. Wow, that house over there, they took a lot of time fortifying it. You can tell they got all sorts of stuff on there. There must be something really good in there. And so you want, like your strength of your walls, you want to do that one as a camouflage deterrent. So you just want to put the stuff in the walls and stuff. You can also go to, that's the cheap way of putting rock in. You can go to scrap iron places and get, steel plates and put steel plates in the wall. And that will work too. Outside the home, probably the best one that I think about, and some of the other guys are starting to come around to now, planter boxes that aren't real planter boxes. So you have the house, you have this 24 to 30 inch deep or wide planter box, 4 6 foot long, 4 foot high, filled with dirt, and it's got a planter box. It's planters there. If they shoot at it, it ain't going to go through 2 feet of dirt.
No, and for the planter box made out of reinforced concrete with steel rods, ain't going to go through it either.
Or if it's just cinder blocks filled with dirt and stuff, and then you just have your decorative fencing material on the outside, so it looks like redwood or cedar or whatever else. It's it'll definitely stop and your wood won't rot away. Other things to do it. There's this plant called I just lost it. Pyracantha. Has these beautiful little red berries on it, little flowers on it. You plant it around your house. It's got 2 to 3 inch thorns on it. I guarantee you don't want to mess with that. Roses is another plant to plant around your house too. It looks beautiful, and it's a threat right out there in the open that's hidden. If you ever walk through a good rose bush, man, it's like, oh, geez. You come out, I got to go to the hospital to get all these cuts stitched up.
Right. Or if you have nephews, it's like, I know how to prune Uncle Al. And it's like, God, what they did to my rose bushes.
Yeah. So you can set up, use natural looking deterrents, plants and stuff that doesn't look like you're fortifying your house, but you're actually creating barriers to keep people from getting, straight into it.
Okay. And there's a point I'm going to make to that. All right. CSCR. If you're going to do that, do smart landscaping. What I would recommend, if you have the wherewithal to do so, is take and create choke points using rose bushes and rose trellises. Have yourself a row of rose bushes and a rose trellis. You now have created a choke point where if they want to get through without going through the rose bushes, they have to come through the trellis.
Yeah.
They have to come through your choke point. And you set it off far enough so it makes, it brings a beauty to it, but it also brings lethality.
Yeah. And the same thing can be said for if you're out in the wilderness bug out location, your vacation home type one. You can do the same type thing out there. Now, one of the things they said, and I put it in red here, was because they said fields of fire. When it comes to that, you got to check with your local ordinances and your state ordinances on certain things. Steve, Corsair Trainers, did a very good video on use of deadly force. You don't, like in California, you do not want to be shooting somebody until they are inside your door. And when you shoot them, you want to make sure they don't fall outside. So there's a lot of there's a lot of legality to using, a field of fire situation.
Deadly force.
I'm going to address drops here real quick. If you're out in the country and poop hit the fan and it is world without rule of law, by the time they get to you, the chances of them having a running vehicle due to the lack of petrol being produced is slim. Your average band of roving thugs aren't going to have vehicles. Now, your highly motivated and highly organized ones will. Okay, because they will have the manpower and resources to store, allocate, and use. But your average marauders, they're going to be on foot or horseback because they're easier to take care of. So, in essence, you can protect yourself against the average person. Those who are nefarious and are hell-bent on doing harm to everybody will have ways to virtually bypass everything you set up, unless you have claymores.
Yeah. And think about driving a full-size SUV through your wall. Well, if you have those planter boxes set out in front, that SUV is going to hit those planter boxes and stop. They may knock it over and be jacked up in the air, but it ain't going to reach the house. And I don't know anybody that you're thinking outside the box. You say a garbage truck would be ideal for ramming something. Well, generally they're not thinking about destroying something to get. They're thinking about just trying to get in to get some food or whatever supplies you have there. They're not going to be. I don't know. The majority of people cannot drive a garbage truck. They don't know
can't
how
drive
to drive
stick.
Yeah, I know exactly, and they don't know about. Most of them don't know those garbage trucks. Most garbage trucks have a Cat 3208 engine in them. Those are finicky engines, and if you don't know how to start it properly, it's going to cause problems.
The perfect vehicle is actually an armored car, because a garbage truck, while it may have the little bars in the front, that bumper is stupid thin, so your radiator is extremely susceptible.
And you're right there in the front of it. You're right there at the front.
Yep. Armored vehicles, on the other hand, are built to take a hit in the front, the back, the sides, the top, the bottom. That's the perfect ramming vehicle.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next. We covered that. All right. Now, if you can afford it and you're going to be staying in the city, you want to get a house that is more structurally sound. If this one was specifically labeled as a bug-in home that's been upgraded, can you see the upgrades on this home?
Well, considering the roof is looks like tile, flat tile, not curved.
Right.
The walls are standard brick.
No, nothing standard about those walls.
Let me finish. They look like standard brick. Look, keyword.
Yeah.
I would assume that's probably a faux fascia, and there's probably go ahead.
All right, that is a stone house. Those are stone blocks. Those blocks are generally 12 inches thick.
Yep.
And how it's been modified.
How
it's been modified. Next to right here. I don't know if you can see the cursor moving around there.
Yep,
there's a gun port. There's a gun port. There's a gun port.
There's also one on each side of the little entryway there.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Unless you're realizing what these things are, thinking about it, you're not going to realize, oh, that's a gun port there. Now, the roof on it, when I was reading on this, is not what I can't even remember the color they called it, and that's not tan, but it's basically it's a slate. It's not a black slate. It's a ivory slate. So if you throw a Molotov cocktail up on there, float's just going to run off. It's not going to burn the slate. Hey, Steve. Hey, we shout out a couple of your videos for you. Your use of deadly force video, and I forget what the other one was we mentioned. So yeah, so but most people aren't going to go buy a house like this. That's why I said earlier about one of the ways you can armor up your house is with gravel in the walls. Like I said, that's if you're up here where I'm at, it's not really feasible as it's all full of insulation to keep you from freezing in the wintertime.
Okay, I'm going to address something. Tibor, you mentioned a chimney. If you look closely at that chimney, you notice that chimney is missing one very important part. The little spout that comes out the very top. If you look at the front of it, it matches the front of the building. That's a faux chimney. It's fake.
Yeah.
It's a gun port.
Yep.
Yeah. That's your
that's your high center. That's your LPOP. It's your lookout observation post.
Okay. Bunkers now. Now, guys, before you all go, ooh, bunkers, just bear with me a second on this one here. You may enjoy this. Hey, back in the 50s and 60s, guess what everybody was doing?
They built them.
They were building their bomb shelters. So this is the 50s version of it. Let's see, cutaway. They got a couch. They got the stereo. They got the shower here. I don't see the kitchen. Might be over here where you can't see it, but they got their shovels and stuff and door going into the basement of the house. Oh, the tubular one that you run out the back door. You lift up the, sorry, bumped that. You lift up the
25-pound or 75-pound manhole cover, and you go right in.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, you want to make sure it says sewer on it, so no one wants to lift it up to go into it. But here's the modern equivalent, guys. They have modern equivalent with more stuff packed in there, and these companies can put it in your backyard fairly easy, but then most of your neighbors know what you have, how you had something put in your backyard. Or if you had a pool back there, you can get the pool taken out and they can bring it in smaller sections and it might be more easily hidden. Here's the big bad boys of the suburban, urban, systems. Of course, if that was mine, this pipe that the guy's leaning on there for the event pipe, I would run that off a little bit farther away, so it's not
about
quite so
300
close.
yards away.
If you're in the city, you can't, but you can move it over closer to a fence or whatever, or bushes, hide it in bushes, and make it not quite so tall. Most importantly, no matter what you're planning on doing, bugging in, bugging out, waiting the situation out to see what you need to do, have a plan.
If you
plan things out.
You plan to fail.
Yeah. Your planning is probably the biggest part of bugging in, bugging out. If you don't do it right, you might as well not have done it at all. And do I got anything after that? Oh, yeah. So remember, don't be part of the crowd. You want to, you don't want to be part of the masses and be run over by mass hysteria. There we go. Tibor says, "Oh, we had one inside the old front porch. Sister, my dad cut a hole through the block. Oh, it was for storms, not nuclear war." Okay. Now I'm trying to think, who was it? One of the channels I've just been watching. They're building their new house. They had I can't remember the name now. Maybe someone out there has been watching them too. They just did the cement pour, they did the pad, and then they poured the tornado house room inside the house that they can build it in. Total cement bunker upstairs. And they're going to build the house around it, but that way they don't have to go outside to find out a thing. They can just go through the closet, open it up, and it looked like it was like a 6x12 room. And sometimes all you have to do in a situation is survive the first passage of mass zombies going through, terrorizing and looting and terrorizing the neighborhood. And once they're gone, anybody else come by, they're only coming by one or twos at a time. One of the neatest things I saw put out there by several different authors, all using the same thing. When thing went and everybody else was leaving and they're bugging in, they had falsified eviction notices and repossession notices, and they plastered them on the outside doors of the house and stuff. Moved all the furniture out of the living room, opened the drapes so you saw, oh, the house is empty. Oh, they were evicted. Nothing's here. Mm-hmm. And they were camouflaged in plain sight as the house being empty, but they were all upstairs. So that's one thing to think about.
I made last year about having to bug in, and if you have to live in a room. Hey, at least you're honest. You're honest. That's the big part. Be honest about it. Anyway.
Yeah, if you want to be more efficient, dig a big hole in the backyard. That way we don't have to dig it ourselves.
Yeah. Anyway, if you have to bug in, my recommendation is for the area you plan on living in, if it is near windows, create shadow boxes for your windows. That way, no light can escape from inside unless you happen to open a slight little vent in the shadow box to let air in, which you would only do during the daytime where nobody could see it. Nope, not doing it, Steve.
Not doing it,
You're
Steve.
a hell of a nice guy. I wouldn't mind hanging out with you, but I'm not moving to California.
No, I'm trying to get people to move out. Go east. Go bother Dave.
I was born down there in Glendale, Steve. I gave it the best. I gave it most of my life.
Al, you see that funny little thing right?
Yeah, I know.
There? Yeah.
They don't want to come here.
Yeah.
They'll never hear it coming.
Drops. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to make 3 or 4 fake graves right next to it, and put a sign on.
A couple bags of dirt mounted over top, and put a cross in front of it.
Yeah, and then
put a shovel leaning up against a tree next to that.
Yeah, you dig your own grave, or next. Yeah.
Another key thing too, if you want to deter, and you have a nice wide open space right out from the outside of your fence line, and it isn't always going to work, but put a cute little sign. Don't get a chuckle out of it. If you can read this, I already see you. You're in, look for the red dot.
Yeah. If you can see this, you're in my scope. Guys, side chat. I know I haven't been reading you much tonight. Thoughts? I know you've been talking a lot of stuff about here. Talking about, you've been making comments about the different things, everything else. Let's see here. If I knew a great bombshell. Oh, that was the other thing. Someone was saying, someone posted a map and they were saying, these are all where the old missile silos are. Bug out to here. No. Not that. The ones that haven't been sold yet. They were saying these are abandoned military silos that haven't been sold or anything. Bug out here.
Right. You know why the reason they're abandoned? Because they might had an accident, or they're contaminated, or like that one idiot went to Colorado, got radioactivity because one of the Minutemen imploded, and that whole cylinder got contaminated. So he's like, I'll make a bug out location out of it. Second day, his hair was falling out, and he was feeling kind of sick. So he went to the hospital. he was so hot that the hospital staff wouldn't even go near him.
That's why I do research on that. I've looked at them many years ago, looked at buying one myself back when I was making really good money and had a very steady income of it. I looked at purchasing one for $180,000. After doing the research, it was decommissioned, fully clean, radioactive checked, whole 9 yards. The problem is, if you can buy one that is clean for a respectable sum, you have a possible location. Problem with it is, those that are decommissioned and deemed safe have usually been dormant and empty for 25 years now, and there's probably about 80 to 90 feet of water at the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's rusted. It's falling apart. There's bugs down there the size of your fist that up here they're about that big. It's not comfortable. You'll spend $2 or $3 million trying to renovate it into a livable space, which is the reason I didn't go for it.
Yeah.
They have one in Arkansas for sale where the Titan II blew up.
Oh, I almost forgot. I had something else here, guys. Let me show you this here. This is a little side note here. Oh, Kraken. The sign I saw said, "Trespassers will be shot. Survivors will be shot again." All right. So one of the places I was checking stuff out, and this was readytogosurvival.com. And he put some bonus stuff in here, and it said, how to find a bug out location. Now you know you consider blah, 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 blah. There are certain real estate agents that are experts in finding bug out locations. First thought that went to my mind, wait a minute, if this is an expert in bug out locations, do I, I really don't want them to know that I want a bug out location. I also heard from a friend of mine who was a real estate agent that some of the people in her office, when they hear people are looking for, I want to buy a bug out location, prices automatically go up.
Mm-hmm.
If you said, I'm just looking for a possible off-grid place, or I'm looking for a property for a family vacation cabin, they double it when you hear you want a bug out location.
Oh, yeah.
And then here's one of the things I thought was kind of funny. Bonus number 2 for this article. Best bug out locations in the U.S. Appalachians, Rocky Mountains, Pacific Northwest, the Dakotas. Oh, we've talked about everything on here so far, just about. Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. Now,
the ones that had the tornadoes today.
Okay, just listen here. Dakotas. Warning, however, you need to be prepared to deal with a winter climate and potential for tornadoes. All right. Pacific Northwest. You must be prepared for a lot of rain and potential volcanic and earthquake activity. So, but then we get down to Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. They say nothing about the hurricanes.
Of course
How
not.
about the tornadoes?
But see, here's the thing about all these so-called experts.
Yeah.
They leave out little bits and pieces because they figure anybody who's researching and living off their word like it's the Bible, which it's not, they're not going to make it very long.
Yeah.
So they're going to leave behind a stash of stuff so they can go take it. Kind of like another YouTuber or 3 out there. They're living in Missouri.
Yeah.
I won't mention any independent's name. Anywho, and Tibor, I have moved. I'm no longer near Middletown. I have moved easterly from there.
Yeah. Well, I like the final place this guy listed. Austin, Texas, Hill Country. All the positive things he put in there about it, I'm looking at it. Okay, he must be from that area because he's pumping that area up too much. Very little risk of drought, less prone to earthquakes, rocky ground, not prone to mudslides. It's in central Texas, so rising sea levels wouldn't be much intended concern. Right. But so you got to be careful. But now, I ask the final thing here. Which state is best to bug out in?
no such thing.
Well,
There are some states that are bad to bug out in, but which ones are
it's-
best?
It's the state your body is currently accustomed to.
Yes.
I mean,
Because you're already familiar with the weather
Climate.
patterns. You're familiar with the growing seasons if you're so inclined. For you to move. Now, for me, to move from where I'm at in Ohio to up in Michigan where I want to be, where I grew up, where I lived for 30 years of my life, my body's still accustomed to that temperature. I know the growing season. I know the terrain and topography of it. I can move up there and live in a tent for the next 5 years because I know where to get the food I need to survive on. But Al or Gil were to go to Michigan right now, they'd be sorry out of luck because they don't know any of the information I do. They'd be knocking on my door. Dave, where do I find this? Where do I find the wild blackberries that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's knowing where you're at and being accustomed and acclimated to the environment where you're going. If you're not acclimated to it, if you don't spend enough time there to get used to what's going on around you, you ain't gonna make it.
Yeah. And unless you're planning a major life change to get to a different climate, like I said in the beginning of the slideshow there, distance was the first thing to consider when looking at a bug out location. How far is it from where you're currently living? So if you aren't bugging out away from your house, you're not going to be, if you're in Louisiana, you're not bugging out to Ohio. If you're in Kansas, you're not bugging out to Washington. It's got to be a distance that you can walk to within a maximum of 2 weeks. Maximum. Otherwise,
you also
that's
need to know your average pace too. Going back to pace speeds for mine live stream. If you know that you cover 5 miles walking in an hour, wearing a full backpack, and you know you have to go X number of miles, you can figure out how many days it's going to take you. But if you've never wore that backpack and never walked miles with that backpack, do not expect your body to appreciate what you're doing when you go to do it. Your body is going to tell you F off, and you ain't going to make it but 2 days before you're completely wore out, broken, or worse. Being prepared means taking not only the mindset, but the physical necessities of life into consideration. And one of your physical necessities is the ability to move. So take your backpack. Don't put your supplies in it, because that way if somebody tries taking it from you, they ain't going to get nothing. But put, some bricks or some rocks in the bottom of it. Give it, 5-10 pounds to start with, and go walk a mile. And then come back and tell me how your feet feel. And then when you can start carrying 25 and 30 pounds, 10, 15 miles, come back and tell me, damn, I'm glad I did that, because I feel a whole hell of a lot better. Yeah. I know I can put on my 30-pound backpack. Charles can put on his 10-pound backpack, and we both can walk 20 miles with no problem. Now, he's not going to be happy. He's not going to be enjoying it. He's going to whine and cry just like a little kid always does. But he can do it. Now, if I up that by 5 pounds for both of us, we ain't going to make it a tenth of that distance because our bodies are not accustomed to it. We're accustomed to the weight we have now. So if you think you're going to grab that 55-pound Alice pack and start marching 25 miles out of town to your favorite little camping site and you've never worn it one time, forget it. You ain't going to make it 2 miles before you try turning around and going back and realizing in the whole thing it was a bad idea to begin with. Yeah. Take the time to practice your skills. That includes you wearing your gear out.
It had a video about doing that. He put on a backpack and he went out for a walk, and he was walking around the he went to the high school or the college, community college. He was walking around the track, and he was timing himself to see how much he was slowing down going around. I'm pretty sure that was Anthony. I just can't find that video. I was going to throw it up here, but Anthony at Meadow Prepare. Yeah. So so I'm just going to throw the link up that you guys can go look for it yourself. This is a link to his video list.
and you can go check it out there and see what's going. Because he was talking about he went light his first time around, and he was having he was talking about the problems he was having, and he was talking about his footwear and everything else on it. So that takes care of that. There's one other thing here I want to talk about, and we grab it up here real quick here. Come on, computer, you can do it. There we go.
It's just like a lot of these other YouTube channels that, they promote buy my gear and you'll survive. Well, a t-shirt ain't going to make you survive. A coffee cup's not going to help you one doggone bit except breaking it over your own head. Go out and train. Take the time. Take a couple days every week and go out and do something that benefits your skill level. Even if that's going outside, taking a flint and steel and try and get a piece of char cloth to take spark and try and light a little teeny, bird's nest on fire. Take the time to hone your skills. Make it muscle memory. Because in a situation where you're flipped out, you got people around you who are depending on your ability to move and do the things and keep a level head. If you don't have muscle memory, and it's just like lifting weights, if you don't have muscle memory, your muscles ain't going to cooperate.
Right.
You need to go out there and train not only your muscles, but your brain.
Right.
If you don't want to take the time to train your brain and your muscles, just quit prepping. Go stand on the street corner and wait till lightning strikes you, because that's all the better you're going to be. Take the time.
Right.
It's fine for us to get up here on this panel. All three of us have taken the time to train, to prep, to make sure that our brain knows when it's extremely stressful, my body needs to do this. To heck with everything else, my body needs to move this direction and do these things.
Yeah.
If you haven't taken the time to prepare yourself mentally and physically, you're going to be one of the people walking like a zombie horde, walking through towns trying to find something to eat. And I'll be sitting where I'm at, enjoying a nice big bag of chili.
Yep.
And that's the thing, even after the initial blow up, if you want to call, as some people call it, when it comes time to start salvaging stuff, you want to make sure you're in shape so you can go salvage stuff.
Right. Folks, before everything, this is a book called Bugging Out. It's basically the terrain of the areas. Now, people get confused. Part of California is the desert Southwest. I have to keep telling people this because,
Valley.
right, and where I live, it's a part of a desert. So I have to tell a lot of people, you got to know your terrain. And like on the Pacific coast, half of California is on the Pacific coast. And then when you get the Rocky Mountains, you see Gill's a part of the Rocky Mountains.
Mm-hmm. I got the Grand Tetons. I can see it right out my window.
So you look at everything right here. He has detailed chapters on each area. This is Bugging Out. I don't like his pattern or tactics, but I do like the terrain features. That's why I got this book for that. You got to know your terrain. Because if you don't, my area is different from Dave's area. It's different from Gill's area. In the summertime, 116. Wintertime, down to 40 or 20. You take your pick.
Yeah. Christy
Spirituality comes with knowledge. If you're a spiritual person, that'll be the first thing your brain goes to. You'll pray and then move. And as far as Steve standing on the corner trying to make money, buddy, I ain't worried about you standing on the corner trying to make money. You'll be out there doing business as needed, taking care of the business.
Yeah. After all, remember, you're just a non-active duty Marine. Okay.
About taking names and showing numbers.
Yeah. And no, Steve, I will not. The only thing I'll be spreading of the California way was the old California, prior to the hippies.
Prior to Woodstock.
Yeah. All right. One other little thing here. I want to go remind everybody. I have my 1,000 subscriber giveaway going on.
1,500 subscriber.
1,500, 1,500 subscriber. I already passed the 1,000 subscriber. Check out the video. It's got the all the things you need to do in here. And come on, where is it? All right. Come on.
I think I've heard of that one, Liberty.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the 1,000 subscriber 1,500 subscriber giveaway, and here is the video for it. And it has all the rules in it. And what am I giving away? Well, hang on a second. I got to kill the green screen behind me. All right, none. Okay. So I'm giving away 4 boxes of canning lids, 12 per box of the wide mouth, and 4 boxes of regular lids. And the Zippo emergency fire kit. All right. And the rules on how to get those is all in the video there. And I may or may not toss in some seeds. I'm thinking about pulling out, because my wife sent me a huge bag full of rainbow chard seeds. I mean, I have enough for me to plant for the next 10 years without harvesting more seeds, and she harvests seeds every year. So I may be throwing some seeds in there as a bonus. But right now, so that's my giveaway stuff. Check it out. And what else? Dave had his giveaway. It was Michael 58 won the first aid kit on Dave's giveaway today. That was a heck of a first aid kit. And
it's an excellent start.
Yeah. So, all righty. I can't think of anything. I think we've covered everything else here. Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah. All righty, folks. So coming up here, pull up the other one here. Hang on, get that up here. So next Tuesday, on Tactical Tuesday, Dave, do you have on Tuesday before mine? Do you have your topic yet?
Hold on, let me see what date that is. Next Tuesday is the 30th. Not yet. I'm still trying to come up with something for that night, but I'll let you know.
All right. So Dave comes on at 9 o'clock Eastern. At 10 o'clock Eastern, my Tactical Tuesday will be communications. What's your plan? We talk about ways of doing communications in minor emergencies, tough situations, or full-blown, situations. So that's be there. The next Friday night is what is your current DEFCON status now after the Red Dragon? So with that, I think we're done for tonight. And as always, everyone, stay happy, stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next video.